Chapter 14 of Deliver Me from Eva by Paul Bailey. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Ben Tucker. Chapter 14. And I did awake, refreshed and reconciled. My heart and conscience were at peace with the world. My bride was in my arms, and joy and mystery were ours for the taking. How did I get here? I asked, kissing her with the passion of a lover returned.
Castleman brought you in at midnight. I put you to bed.
I glanced at the sleeve of my green silk pajamas and nestled Eva close to me. Did I come in under my own power?
You were walking, with his help, and you were awfully dopey. I'll not tell you all the sweet and wonderful things you said to me. Please don't ever try to run away again.
I shan't, I promise. Recollection stirred within me. For an instant I stared at the boudoir clock. I must go, I said, jumping from bed. I must hurry back to your father.
I know,
Eva said, smiling delightfully.
And then don't waste any time getting back to me. This is our day, you know.
She flung me a coy glance.
I'll not be yours tonight, you know.
Couldn't be anyway, I replied. I don't know how long it will take my head to heal.
Then father does plan an operation?
Eva said it with some concern. I nodded, scratched my rumpled hair, and gazed pridefully down at my vision in bed.
That perception came to me last night, she sighed, but I'd all but dismissed it from my mind. I'm sorry it was necessary, but do hurry with your recovery. I'll be waiting for you when my cycle's ended.
And I'll be waiting for you, I said, bending to kiss her. I had intended having breakfast with Eva in the solarium, but these plans were blasted by sudden appearance of Dr. Kramer at Thalamus. There was something more than glider marks to indicate his presence this time. I saw him, and I talked to him. After shaving and dressing, I leisurely had walked into my study to wait while Margot prepared Eva for the day. Oddly, I sensed no carryover of the impression and resistive impulses of the night before. I sat there contentedly smoking my morning's first cigarette, calmly aware of last night's flight, my strange return, Osmond's cadaver, and the doctor's plans for me. My frenzies, my hates, my resolutions against the Craners, all had been plucked bodily from mind. It seemed perfectly natural to remember acts without a trace of the former rancor accompanying them. It seemed perfectly natural to see half a man with a glider appended to his buttocks and those buttocks in the air calmly walking on his hands through the doorway toward me. I saw him step to the center of the room, and with the grace of a gymnast, drop his torso to his wheels. "Good morning, Dr. Craner," I greeted.
"Good morning, my son."
His vibrant voice was full of good cheer. There was a merry twinkle to his brown eyes as he pulled off his leather gloves and dropped them to his coat pocket.
"I trust you are in better humor this morning."
"Yes, much better," I happily replied. "And the mystery of how your glider marks started from my room center is solved by your appearance." He ran a hand across his great bald head, touched his hearing buttons, and smiled.
"I often visit back and forth between houses."
"But even with your amazing faculty for getting around, I marvel how you negotiate that rocky trail."
"I don't. I have another way."
I was at point of asking how, when the doctor flung the all-important question at me.
"And now, my son, are you ready?"
I was just going to sit down to breakfast with Eva.
"No breakfast. A full stomach is by no means calamitous with my anesthesia. But it's wiser to refrain from food. Are you prepared to leave immediately?"
With no trace of reluctance, without a moment's hesitation, I replied, "Any time you say, doctor. May I tell Eva I'm going?"
"I'll tell her,"
Dr. Craner replied.
"Meet me at the Cradle of Light in 15 minutes.
In complete and unquestioned obedience, I turned to go. At my study door, the doctor called to me.
"You haven't by chance talked to Margot this morning?"
"No," I answered, pausing.
"'Tis good. She likely would have talked against surgery."
"I wouldn't have listened to her," I called. Pridefully, the doctor wagged his great head.
"The words of a loyal son," he said.
In full light of spring day, the rocky path between the two houses could hold no trace of terror. It was a strange journey I was taking, but in me there stirred no sense of strangeness. Like wings from a pupa, I was new and altered as to the world I yesterday had known. Now I felt happy, carefree, content. I loitered at the turns, gazed out at the incomparable view. and basked in the April sunshine. I was neither frightened of the doctor's knife nor worried of its consequence. I had the utmost faith in the rightness of things and an exalted sense of well-being. Neither physical hurt nor mental shock could have blasted me from my beatific freedom. I heard the automobiles on the streets across the Arroyo. I knew that Pasadena and Los Angeles were near and that I once had a life and duty in their midst. I was conscious of the circle of existence which had been mine less than a fortnight ago. Dimly I recalled Allard and Brinkley and the graceful Edith to whom I had given troth. But they were now the pale shadows. Reality to me was hinged between Thalamus and the cradle of light. Content lay there. The life beyond was nothing. I wanted no escape. I wanted the thing I was moving toward. In the comfort of a well-pastured animal, I paused at the landing on the hillside. Unhurried, tranquil, I took my time about entering the cradle of light. My gaze went out toward the Sierra Madres, and the beauty in the distance. Much was promised me. By the most willing of acts, I was securing these things to my name forever. Obligated to move at last, I turned, lazily opened the metal door, and stepped inside. A cry, half human, half animal, greeted me as I stood blinking in the sudden darkness. Before I could move, another screech sounded, and I was knocked to my knees by the impact on my shoulder of something big, heavy, and viciously solid. A sense of personal danger quickly dispelled my blitheness of spirits, and I moved to escape. With a finality that asked no dispute, the door was slammed shut. I knew I was at the mercy of the demented Insa. Cautiously, I inched up the wall toward the light switch I had seen Osmond use, meticulously careful not to draw Insa's attention by any unnecessary noise. My hand found the switch. I took a deep breath, snapped it on, and leaped to my feet. I saw Insa. Her yellow hair was in disarray, her maid's uniform bedraggled and torn. Her face was dark with hate and torment, and in this moment she was frothing with a killer's fury. She lunged at me, and then stopped, whimpering.
"You're not him?"
"I'm not whom?"
That Castleman."
"Of course I'm not Castleman," I heartily replied, and with utmost relief. "Forget it, Insa."
"But they killed Osmond."
"Come, let's go upstairs."
"But they killed him, I tell you. Look."
And I did look, for she was pointing to Osmond's mutilated head. It was lying where it had rolled on the concrete floor of the passageway. My serenity ebbed. I rubbed my bruised shoulder. "Why did you throw it at me?" I asked, still blinking in astonishment.
"They killed him,"
she howled.
"So I'll kill them."
"But, Insa," I said, eyeing her cautiously. "Please, Insa."
"They cut him up. They cut out all his sense. They'll cut you up, too. And they'll cut out all your sense."
And gory as was the sight, I could not help but stare at it, for, from the floor, Osmond's lifeless eyes were staring up at me. I knew, too, and with considerable relief, that they had gotten Osmond's brain glands before Insa's desecration. I knew it because I could see the line where his scalp had been neatly stitched down. And I was happy, for not even this foul and unspeakable deed would thwart the doctor, nor the majestic destiny he had prepared for me. End of chapter 14.